right
Happening now, CPS is working to restore power to a number of homes and businesses over on the city's southeast side after a single vehicle crashed there.
Yeah, one person has been taken to the hospital. It happened at South Cross and W.W. White Road. San Antonio police are there trying to figure out how the crash happened. Meanwhile, our Camelia Juarez is there right now and joins us live. Camelia?
Well, Courtney, Tim, we spoke to San Antonio police about a couple hours ago, and they say that this small SUV was speeding when it crashed into this utility pole. The crash happened just before 2:45. San Antonio police say the SUV was moving so fast. Firefighters arrived at the scene. They had to cut the driver out. He was taken to BAMC with several injuries to their legs and lungs. CPS is here working on the power lines. They may need to replace that pole. The Family Dollar here right by the crash had to close early because it no longer has power. The San Antonio Police Raven drone team is here using drones to investigate this crash. Now, we're still working to learn more about the driver's condition, but again, they were taken to BAMC. Now, if you're coming down this area, be careful because this whole area is blocked. So if you're coming down South Cross and towards W.W. White, it is blocked off. Reporting live on the east side, Camelia Juarez, KSAT 12 News.
A rollover crash overnight on Loop 1604 near Boulevardy Road sent one person to the hospital and another person to jail. It all happened a little before 3 a.m. SAPD officers say a driver sideswiped another vehicle on the road, causing that vehicle to slam up against a wall. Now, police say the driver that initiated the crash ended up driving off the highway and their vehicle rolled over several times before landing on the frontage road. That driver was taken to custody for suspicion of DWI. A passenger in that vehicle that hit the wall was taken to the hospital.
Now to a developing story. The investigation into a deadly shooting at an East Side motel continues as San Antonio police try to determine if the shooting was a case of self-defense. According to detectives, the man that was killed may have been stalking a woman who was staying at that motel. The incident happened in the 4000 block of I-10 East and Upland Road yesterday afternoon at the Upland Inn. Detectives say the man who fired the gun told them that the 23-year-old suspect entered the motel room where he and his girlfriend were staying. He says he asked the suspect to leave several times, but he refused. Investigators say the man feared for his life and his girlfriend's life and fired a gun several times, and one of those shots hit the suspect in the head. He died at the scene. The woman told police the suspect had been stalking her and she's been trying to get a restraining and protective order against him. The suspect's identity has not been released yet. Officers are still trying to determine if this was in case self-defense.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, those who fought and gave their lives for Texas independence will be remembered at the Alamo. 2 special ceremonies are planned at the historic shrine. Those events are the Dawn at the Alamo. That'll be scheduled for 6 o'clock in the morning. And then the Remember the Defenders event that's set for 6 p.m. tomorrow. During both ceremonies, the defenders of the Alamo will be acknowledged and honored for their sacrifice. Of course, according to history, back on February 24th, 1846, General Santa Anna's army surrounded the Alamo for 12 days. On day 13, March 6th at the dawn, the standoff ended and the fighting began. The Battle of the Alamo lasted around an hour and a half, and daybreak revealed that all of the defenders had died. Remember the Alamo became the battle cry that helped Texans finally win independence. Tomorrow's remembrance events are free and open to the public.
News around Texas now. Law enforcement in Italy, Texas, releasing a photo of the mother accused of stabbing her 5 children, killing 3 of them. 25-year-old Shemaiah Hall is being held on a $2 million bond. Officials say on Friday, Child Protective Services arrived for a home visit. Investigators say the stabbings occurred after a CPS caseworker visited the home and ordered the children removed from the residence. When sheriff's deputies arrived to take the children, they found a 6-year-old boy and 5-year-old twins dead. A 4-year-old boy and 13-month-old girl were injured and taken to the hospital.
Happening across America tonight, another Norfolk Southern freight train has derailed in Ohio, this time in Springfield. Authorities there say none of the cars were carrying hazardous materials, but they still ordered people to stay in their homes out of an abundance of caution. No one was hurt, and a spokesperson for the company tells CNN about 20 cars of the train jumped the tracks yesterday. An investigation now underway to figure out what caused the derailment. A little more than a month ago, you'll remember, another Norfolk Southern train derailed in East Palestine, Ohio, spilling toxic chemicals.
Well, 10 million Americans are under winter alerts as another winter storm slams into Northern California.
Yeah, San Bernardino County, which is already buried under the snow, is forecast to see wind gusts of up to 55 miles per hour, reducing visibility and hampering efforts to clear the snow. ABC's Rena Roy explains how that storm system is expected to bring snow and rain from the northern plains to the Great Lakes in the coming days.
Many residents in San Bernardino County, California, are still stranded under as much as 12 feet of snow.
It's really tough. I have a 12-year-old and my mother-in-law in the house.
Many roads still unpassable. Helicopters are the most reliable way to get aid to people trapped on the mountain. ABC's DeMarco Morgan is there.
Now, this is pretty much the story, not just here in Crestline, but other neighboring mountain communities. People trying to dig their way out with the help of neighbors, even strangers pitching in to help.
The National Guard now helping to clear roads in the area. With many stores closed, people are lining up here for food and other supplies. This couple walking an hour and 20 minutes to get here.
That entire side of the lake is there's no one's plowed, the only things that have been plowed have been by the people that live up there.
The McBride family making the difficult decision to trek downhill to the pharmacy after their son ran out of his epilepsy medicine.
It's not necessarily optional for a few days to go without his medicine. We absolutely, that was a hard decision to make.
Gas leaks have sparked numerous fires, the fire department responding to at least 7 incidents in the past week. That same weather system traveled across the country, bringing strong winds, heavy rains, and tornadoes to parts of the South. At least 12 weather-related deaths have been reported. In Bowling Green, Kentucky, winds up to 70 miles per hour bent this White Castle sign in half as it crashed down on a car below. Luckily, no one was injured. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Timing is everything, and a delivery truck driver in Kentucky knows that better than anyone after dropping off a package this weekend and almost losing his life. That moment caught on camera. We'll have it for you right after the break.
And up next, a trip to a national park could end up being a test of friendship. This after a thought-provoking social media post by the National Park Service offering safety tips about bears. We'll explain right after this. Don't know if you caught this, but the National Park Service is turning to humor to warn people about bears. A social media post by the agency offered a number of real tips about bear encounters that may have you wondering how tight your friendships are. In the post, a quote that reads, "If you come across a bear, never push a slower friend down, even if you feel the friendship has run its course." One user then added to the agency what to do if they're just with an acquaintance. The Park Service replied that friendships don't happen by chance, that it, quote, takes effort and trust to build a lasting friendship, unquote. The service pointed out that as spring nears, bears will become more active. The agency also notes that bear attacks are rare, but can happen.
Watch out for those bears and don't push your friends down. And check this out. Talk about good timing. A FedEx driver narrowly escaped serious injury as he's dropping off a package at a home in Erlanger, Kentucky this weekend. Watch that. Woo! Ooh. That's a doorbell camera capturing the moment when powerful winds toppled that large tree onto the porch where driver Tony Antal had just stood seconds earlier. The delivery man says he was shaken to see just how close he came to getting hit by that tree, possibly being seriously injured or worse.
Wow.
Yikes.
Wow, that was really like seconds.
Yeah, that's great. That's the first time I've seen that video. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Glad that he is okay for sure. All right, taking a look outside here in San Antonio this Sunday. After finding some morning fog out there earlier today, that all cleared by the mid to late morning hours and we were left with plenty of sunshine. Now, big 3 things we need to think about as we head into the upcoming work week. The humidity is going to build and we're still expecting unseasonably warm temperatures in the forecast here through at least the first half of this upcoming week. Morning rounds of patchy fog, maybe a few sprinkles, certainly possible. I do think we will find some sunshine into the afternoons and then still some uncertainty on when our next cold front and storm chance is going to arrive. We'll talk about it after the break.
Well, we have great weather here. It's a little warm for me because I just want to hold on to winter, but I suppose I can let go.
Those cool days are rapidly disappearing from us, I think.
Yeah, we could find some cooler air by the end of next week, just depending on how our next cold front shakes out. But honestly, just in full transparency, there still is some question marks regarding when that next front is going to move into south central Texas. We'll talk all about it. But first, let's get you a look outside at those current conditions right now. Still a lot of sunshine out there. We do have a few high clouds that have been streaming into parts of the south central Texas sky, but still overall, because of the blue skies we have found out there this afternoon, it has been another warmer than average day to wrap up the weekend. Right now, temperatures still in the low 80s here in San Antonio. It's 77 in Bulverde, 78 over in Seguin, 84 in Pleasanton, 82 in Divine, and 83 over in Hondo this hour. Still, all things considered, a beautiful way to wrap up the weekend. Yes, as we head into any evening plans, clear skies stick with us for the most part in the 70s by 7 p.m. and then we'll see those thermometers transition to the 60s later this evening. Now, something we're going to monitor here over the next 24 hours and really into at least the first half of the upcoming work week, the humidity is expected to build. In fact, taking a look at the dew points right now compared to where we were this time yesterday, they're about 10 to 15 degrees higher, and really they're expected to climb even more so as we head into the overnight hours tonight and into our Monday. So you know what that means. Earlier this morning, we did find some areas of patchy to even dense fog out there in spots. I think before the sun comes up tomorrow morning, we likely will find more of the same. Maybe not for everybody, but probably a good idea to plan on giving yourself a little bit of extra time out the door tomorrow. Whatever we do find out there in terms of fog development does look to break up a little bit more by the mid to late morning hours. Also, is possible that we find a few sprinkles to a few patches of drizzle out there first thing in the morning with that humidity in place there as well. Temperature wise, not quite as cool as what we woke up to earlier this morning. Low 60s first thing tomorrow, around 73 by lunchtime. I do think into the afternoon hours, though, we will start to see some of that low level cloud cover break up, more peaks of sunshine, helping those temperatures once again climb into the 80s. Around 82 is that forecast high here in town. For your Monday afternoon, 84 in Floresville, 81 up in Canyon Lake, 81 as well over in Kerrville. I did mention that humidity sticking with us. South winds will continue to pump in more of that moisture here over the next few days, which means additional rounds of morning fog and a little bit of drizzle is expected through at least Wednesday. Temperatures in the mid 60s, muggy out there, transitioning to highs in the 80s. It's into the Thursday time frame. That's when we still have some of those question marks regarding when exactly that next front is going to move in. As of this evening's forecast, it looks to stay just north of our area on Wednesday and then move in sometime by Thursday and Friday. A storm chance does look to move in with it, pretty isolated there, but still with those question marks, definitely something to check back in on over the next few days, guys.
Keep an eye out. Thank you, Mia.
All right, Larry's here to tell us about the Clark High School girls basketball state champs.
Yeah, in Class 6A. So Judson was the last San Antonio area school to win a 6A state championship, and now Clark can join that list. Look at the Cougars, so very happy, and rightfully so. Plus, in boys high school hoops, we have 4 teams in the state tournament, including Brennan, coming up.
All right, warm and humid through at least the first half of this upcoming work week, and then we'll monitor for that next front when it moves in and if we can see some storms with that, y'all.
All right, that's all of our time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here for the night show.
Have a good evening.